about getting in.
He's here now. Well, Mourner's Corner. Well, gentlemen, why the long faces?
Cattle dying and no salt, that's why.
I'm glad you're here. You seen Shayla yet?
Not yet. I figure to talk to him tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
I think you ought to go see him right now. Shayla held up the sale of the salt until you got here, and we've all been waiting, and everybody's ready to load up and move out.
All the salt beds are cleaned out, and the stock's way down in the warehouse. How is this going to be divided up?
Well, everybody's going to get 60% of what they got last year.
Your idea, Cartwright?
No, Shayla's idea. He figured it out with Miss Hallie.
The lady who owns us, 60% seems fair enough for those who stood still, those who sold some of the cattle. That's more than enough. Well, gentlemen, you see, my herd has increased by 1,200 head. And 60% of the salt I bought last year won't nearly be enough.
1,200 head? It's more than twice what he was running last year. Sit down now. What, he hadn't been in town in 10 minutes.
No point in arguing and fighting and bickering now. Let's try to figure out a way to work this out.
The difference between you and me, Cartwright, is you want to see everybody gets their share. Me, I'm only interested in mine.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You're the last buyer to arrive.
60%'s the figure I've heard mentioned.
Yes. That's the way Vern and I worked it out. It seemed fairest for everybody.
I'm sure it is. Bob Brio had a good business here. It's too bad you inherited empty salt beds. Miss Hallie, I don't mean to be personal, I don't mean to pry, but I wonder about people. Can you tell me what you did before you came here?
I taught school, kept books in a bank. If you'll just sign the order.
Bookkeeper. I'll bet you did twice the work the men did and got half the pay.
Less than half. If you'll sign, please.
Of course. Vern's known these cattlemen a long time. They're personal friends of his, so I can understand his concern about them. But you, Miss Hallie, you're new here. You've had to work for a living. You know it's a dog-eat-dog world. I'm surprised you haven't looked out for yourself, your future.
I have, Mr. Talbot.
Not in the way I mean. My herd's increased in size, and I'm going to need more than 60% of last year's buy.
I'm sure you are, Mr. Talbot. Every cattleman has told me the same thing.
I pay for what I want, Miss Hallie. I pay very well.
Everything all right, Miss Ada?
Everything is just fine.
My herd's bigger, so I'm going to need a bigger share. And I'm willing to pay a lot more. That's what I said, 1,200 head.
1,200 head. You're absolutely sure about that?
What difference does it make?
Joseph?
We had a drink with a couple of your ranch hands, Mr. Talbot. They said your herd's a lot smaller this year than it was last.
Snooping and prying, just like the Cartwrights.
Close to 800 head smaller than last year.
Bigger or smaller, what difference does it make?
Mr. Talbot, you're using a lie to get more salt than you deserve.
That may be true. But Cartwright, sooner or later, you and I are going to have to partner with each other. Get rid of the competition, or we're going to be at each other's throats.
Talbot, we'll never be partners. If I have to, I'll fight you all the way.
Talbot!
I hear you're trying to run the price of salt up so you can get a hog share.
get what I want. I pay what I have to pay.
You already got Hawkins and Walters siding with you against the rest of us. Now, what did that cost?
Williams, you talk too much.
You raise that price out of our reach, we're all gonna lose every head we got.
Tough, Zeb. Tough.
Talbot! I ain't gonna let that happen. It took me a lifetime to get what I got. I ain't gonna give it up without a fight.
Don't be a fool.
Hey, Williams! Get it out there quick. Take him to his room. Who shot you, Paul? Never mind that now. Let's get him up. Who did it, Paul? Never mind.
All right, what's going on here?
Just difference of opinion, Sheriff. It was a fair fight.
Nothing fair about it. Talbot's twice as fast as Williams.
Talbot, you shoot Williams?
Williams drew on Talbot. All Talbot did was... Yeah. Let's make a deal now. It's more than twice what I offered you yesterday.
I saw you shoot Mr. Williams.
Well, he drew on me.
Why?
He thought I was going to buy more than my fair share of the salt.
Well, if my salt is worth shooting a man for, it's worth a lot more money than this.
Missy, that's a fair price. Don't try my patience.
Are you threatening me, Mr. Talbot?
I'm just telling you that if you hold that salt much longer, my cattle are going to die, and I'm not going to let that happen.
And I'm not going to take less for my salt than I can get. And I'm not going to deal with you alone. I'm going to meet with all the cattlemen. In 1 hour, put a price on the salt.
She called a meeting. Everybody's here. Where's she?
She'll be along in a minute.
I'm taking all I'm going to take.
You won't have to wait any longer, Mr. Talbot.
You set a price?
Yes, I have. $1 per head of cattle you own, for 60% of the amount you bought last year.
I've got 700 head. It'd cost me $700 for salt worth less than $50. If I had $700, and I haven't.
You can borrow it, Mr. Pardee.
Borrowed to the hilt. Shaler, you behind this?
I set the price. Mr. Shaler had nothing to do with it.
Then, ma'am, I know Hogg's got better family than you.
Hey, you got 5 seconds to swallow those words.
I beg your pardon, ma'am.
Byrne, would you see me back to the warehouse?
I'd be happy to. You are about the only one who can afford it, Mr. Cartwright.
The only one.
Well, Cartwright, you going to meet a price?
No.
Why not?
If I meet a price, and if you do, that'll establish it for every rancher here. None of them can afford it.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going to refuse to buy. But if you do the same, we can force a price down.
How long will that take? I'm losing more cattle every day.
Wait a minute. Listen. Nobody wants this. But the truth is that you and I could survive if we lost every head of cattle we owned. Now, if we refuse to meet our price, if we all stick together, we can force it down.
Stick together? These cattlemen will never stick together. I know it. Sooner or later, it's every man for himself.
Hey.
Ned, I guess you know my friends.
Well, if they're friends of yours, I don't want to know them. You know why you're still alive?
Well, why don't you tell me?
Because I promised my pa I wouldn't draw on you. And I keep my promises.
That's a smart thing to do.
But that don't mean that I can't tell you what I think of you. That don't mean I can't.
All right, that's enough. Put those guns away. Those men hurt, get them up. Now, any more of this, and I'll lock you all up.
What's all this about?
And there you go.
Running with Talbot. You men stay here. I know how to get that salt out of the warehouse, and I'm going to get it now.
Mr. Talbot, I thought you might be the first to come.
And the last, I think.
What do you mean by that?
I'm prepared to meet your price, $1 a head.
Very sensible.
And I'm going to offer you $5,000 more, provided you sell me the rest of the salt at the same price.
Do you share the salt?
No.
If the other ranchers don't get salt, the herds would be destroyed,
And stuff.
which would leave you with the only herd in the area. You'd be able to set your own price for beef and for cattle to restock the other ranches.
That's right.
And you would make a lot of money.
Money. Money I would be willing to share.
Sally? I'm here representing all the ranchers, except Mr. Talbot. I just wanted you to know that we've decided to meet your terms.
Oh. Well, I understand some of the ranchers like the money to meet the terms.
Yes, it's true. None of them has enough, but I've made arrangements, and they're now able to overcome that problem.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Cartwright. But I'm sorry.
What do you mean you're sorry?
I've just sold all the salt to Mr. Talbot.
Thanks.
I'll need a receipt.
Of course.
Either you or Shayla tell that deputy I bought the salt.
You tried to buy it.
Try.
Yeah.
I give her the money and she's writing me a receipt.
Don't. Yes, I see you tried to buy it. You were outbid. Outbid by a group of ranchers who appointed me treasurer. You were outbid by $1.
Cartwright, that salt belongs to me. Bought and paid for my beat.
Don't let me interrupt. Keep talking. I'd like to know what's going on, too.
Sheriff, this salt belongs to me. All of it.
All of it.
Verna had to. He met my price.
We met it too. And outbid it by $1.
She accepted my offer first. I demand that...
Shut up! Now, I know what Cartwright would do with his. But how about Talbot? Was he going to share?
No.
And you were going to sell it to him knowing that?
Vern, what could I do? He met my price.
Hey, you see? She admits I bought it first.
Ben, I sympathize with you in principle. But if he got here with the money first, then I'm afraid the law sides with him.
Now, look, Vern, that salt is life to every head of cattle in this part of the state. If you deny it to them, that's mass murder. And no decent man or court could countenance that.
Here's the keys to the loading dock. Tell them and get their wagons.
I will, but I want you to divide the salt.
I will. Get out of town.
Can't do this. This salt's being stolen.
Get out of town. Don't you come back.
I've been waiting for you, Ben. Can't resist the man in trouble, can you?
Hit him too hard. Nothing's gonna help him.
Stand up. Slow. Drop your gun barrel. Over here. Whole bunches out there. All right, Ben.
Now, what you play? What do you expect to gain?
My property. Me and Conrad are protecting my bought and paid for property. If I have to kill 3 Cartwrights and 4 or 5 ranches to do it, I will. Ada Halley has my check. This is my soul.
When you kill the deputy, you put yourself on the other side of the law. What about the sheriff? You gonna kill him too?
That don't bother me none. Conrad, keep a watch on that door. Now you're gonna get them to come in here, one at a time.
Oh, no.
You wanna die?
You really want to play those odds, Talbot? You pull that trigger, sure you'll kill me. But there are 3 out there for